Okay, so now it's time for the second game that got a vote. Stella Deus, a tactical RPG that was released by Atlus, which right off the bat sounds like we're in for a good time. And to that I say, kinda? For those of you who may not have seen my Disgaea videos, let me inform you on something here real quick. I like tactical RPGs, and I absolutely love Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. So I've been on the lookout for any tactical RPG for the PlayStation 2 that is similar to those other two games, that can scratch the same itch they're capable of. So far, no such luck, as unfortunately, Stella Deus didn't quite hit the same highs for me. But I think it still has some good and interesting qualities to it, so why don't we get into that? So let's set the stage here. The world is dying, or so it seems, thanks to the existence of the miasma, this thick fog that kills everything it engulfs. With no one really knowing what exactly the miasma is or how to stop it, different factions have emerged to combat the issue, sort of. We have a warlord who has gone around to conquer other settlements, which has resulted in the extinction of a few people and their cultures. Then we have the church, whose philosophy is, the miasma is God's will, so if it comes to eat your village, that's just God's way of saying it's time for you to go, so you should be honored. Yeah, real forward thinking there. Anywho, the game follows the journey of a young man named Sparrow, who is friends with a man named Visor, who goes around killing spirits to make alchemic machines in hopes of stopping the miasma, and hopefully save the world. Unfortunately, Visor gets forced to work for Dignus, the evil warlord guy, and Sparrow, with a couple of his friends, ends up going on their own journey. Not too long into the game, they come across a young girl named Lina, I think that's how you pronounce it, who is the last of the shamans and believes in an entirely different way to stop the miasma, which involves opening some legendary gate. So if any of that is a bit confusing, well, one, sorry, but two, I didn't quite know exactly what was going on all the time either, since I lost interest in the story pretty early on. The world building here is okay, just not always conveyed the best. It's the characters where I started to lose interest. First off, the voice acting in the game is not very good. I'm not trying to be mean here, but the delivery of many of the lines are stilted and unnatural. You're better off muting the voices. Second, I personally didn't get much from their personalities here. No one really stood out, or were all that memorable, at least for me. That's not to say the characters are bad or the story is bad, I just didn't get all that into it or much out of it. As I've said before, Stella Deus is a tactical RPG. Battles are turn-based, they take place on grid maps, and so on and so forth. It's all pretty good and easy to understand, though this might make it seem like there is nothing interesting about the game. Here is where we talk about the AP system. Every action a character performs will cost them AP, such as movement and attack. So this means if you moved, say, Sparrow as far as he could to get closer to the enemies, it would cost you the ability to attack as it would use up too much AP. Sometimes it's better to leave a character in a dangerous situation so that instead of moving, they can attack a monster multiple times. At first I found the AP system a bit odd, but the more I played with it, the more I started to like it, since it added a little extra to the strategy of battles. Unfortunately, at the same time, battles can go on forever due to how large the maps are and just how high enemies' HP is. Maybe that's just me, but I couldn't help to notice this since, say, in FFTA, all the characters have more balanced stats, making fights more engaging versus being kinda tedious. There are some other things that I like though. Characters each have their own unique weapons and skills to make them more distinct from each other. Plus, the way you earn skills is kind of interesting. Every time your character performs an action, they earn both experience and SP, the latter of which is used to buy skills. There's even some customization with passive skills like higher chance of evasion or an increase to critical hits. I'm a little iffy on the whole class thing. Like, every character is their own class and needs a specific item to upgrade it. Kinda like Fire Emblem, except I think you only get these items after story battles, cause that's the only way I ever seem to get them. I mean, if you're gonna give me a class system, Just give me something more like FFTA, otherwise just let them upgrade at certain levels like in Vandal Hearts, especially since this is a much more streamlined game. Admittedly, I don't like the color palette of this game. Every time I think about it, all that comes to my mind is white, gray, and white. Everything just feels so pale. On the other hand, the art direction is really good. Maps are well detailed and easy to understand, and man, the sprite work is some top-notch stuff. The animations are just so damn nice and fluid, and overall are just so great to watch. It's easily one of the best parts of the game for me. Progression through the game isn't all that difficult. You just move to the next dot on the world map, which seeing a world map at first got me super excited. Too bad it doesn't serve much of a purpose. There aren't any special towns to visit, it didn't flesh out the world more for me, and no matter how hard I tried, I could never start a random encounter. It's really only here for saving, showing you where to go next, and being a spot to open up a menu. From the menu, you'll be able to visit a town to get new equipment, which, by the way, items are fucking stupid in this game. Maybe I was doing something wrong, but it seemed like I could only use healing items if they were equipped to my character's accessory slots, which I found to be kinda dumb. Oh well, it's not a big deal as I use healing spells more anyway. There's also a pub to visit that offers up these quests for you to do, and I should say right here and now, do these as much as possible. Sure, some of them are a bit useless or are really only there to give you a little extra gold, but some will actually give you new characters for your party. By the way, there are some secret characters that can be unlocked by doing specific things in story battles, to then post their quests at the pub, and I missed these. So again, if you do plan on playing this game, do every quest you can because getting new characters makes it great as some variety is really needed at times. Thankfully, there is a way to keep your characters evenly leveled and fully equipped by grinding in the catacombs. The catacombs themselves are okay. It's kinda dull that so many maps look so similar and are even just the same but with different enemies, but it is kinda necessary for some grinding. It's just a shame that after a certain point, I started to find battles to be more tedious and not that interesting, so I just stopped playing after about 28 hours. So yeah, I'm sad to say, but I didn't really love Stella Deus like I was hoping I would. I think it's still a good tactical RPG. After all, the mechanics of the battles still work pretty well. The AP system's kinda interesting, and the animations are really nice and smooth. And to be fair, though I didn't mention it, there is some good music, it just didn't stand out that much to me. If you're into tactical RPGs, I think you should definitely give this game a try. After all, just cause I didn't really get into it doesn't mean other people couldn't. It's just I found the game to not really hit the same highs like I was hoping it would. It didn't have an interesting class system, there wasn't much point to the world map, and battles started to get really tedious. It seems my search for a tactical RPG for the PlayStation 2 that's just right for me is still on. Well, next time we'll be taking a look at a game that I don't hear many people talk about, so I'll see you all then.